From the Chatterbox Sports Studio in Hamilton, Ohio, this is Not Too Picky with Paul Fritchner.
Not Too Picky with Paul Fritchner and also with Reed Mouse. Casey, do we have an echo in this? There we go. Now we don't. Thank you very much. Casey McAllister is over there on the keyboard. Our producer, Reed Mouse, is to my left. Reed, how you doing?
I've been better.
Yeah?
I've been better. There's no doubt about that.
There we go.
Now I'm much better. But I like the echo to start the show. It seemed like it was an added effect. And that's just Casey, the producer whiz that he is, just adding a little something extra.
You know, none of this actually went over air. Just let y'all know.
Okay, perfect.
Love it.
Perfect.
Are we live and how?
So I want to say a quick thank you to Sir Boy Wonder 513, huge fan of Tom Brenneman's show.
Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, followed us on Twitter, and we appreciate that. And thanks to everybody that's been tuning into this show. You can follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all over the place. I think we're getting Reed Mouse on TikTok. I don't know.
Got to.
Yeah, we're trying to build that brand on TikTok. So we're there, and the first thing we got to do to start this show is talk about Thursday's show that we had. Because Thursday's show was far and away the best show, picks-wise, that we have done so far in the very small run of this show. We were up damn near 11 units on Thursday's show alone. Now, remember, Russ Heltman on the show, our guest on Thursday's show. Don't have a guest for today's show. We're going to do Monday Misery. We're also going to do a new segment. It's called Monday Miracles. We'll get into that in a minute. But Russ came on the show, and we were told by James Rapine that Russ was going to be a great guest. He was going to be prepared. He was going to bring us some info. Russ came onto the show, and he said, hey, look, we're not going to count this if it hits. We're not going to count this one for our record. And I made it very clear to Russ that if the bet lost, it'd be stricken from the record. You'd have no idea that we even gave it out on this show. But if it won, I was going to count it in everything that we did. Sure enough, it won. Jawan Johnson, an anytime touchdown scorer. Not only did he score one touchdown, he scored 2 touchdowns in the game. At the time that Russ gave that pick, I think it was plus 480. This show was up almost 11 units just Thursday. Just on Thursday Night Football and the UVA game, which Reed,
Virginia,
you gave
go
out,
Cavs.
all over the place on Thursday. So thanks to everybody that tuned in on Thursday. Our chat pick won. Our guest pick won. Everything won on Thursday. Had a great show. And in fact, the other thing that won on Thursday was the Cardinals, which is why I have a Baja Blast
I paid that
sitting up in front of me right here. For those of you listening in podcast form, I have a Baja Blast in front of me because if you remember on Thursday, Reed and I bet Saints and Cardinals. He said we'll buy each other Taco Bell for whoever covers. I had the Cardinals.
I don't know if you've ever been to Taco Bell with Paul, but if you have, you know that was probably the biggest bet I've ever placed. I mean, I had to move some money around and the old checking and savings account. It was a big order.
Yeah, we the quesaritos. There was a time where the quesarito was off the menu at Taco Bell. It was a disastrous time for a fast food eating experience. But the Baja Blast just always keeps you coming back. Got that large Baja Blast sitting. You can hear it. Sitting right here in front of us.
Oh, baby.
Great way to get going on a Monday.
Yeah.
So we had UVA and go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, we text back and forth about how our picks are doing. We actually religiously follow our picks. Like when a chat pick comes in, we are locked into that. We are that committed. And I always say the phrase, best financial opportunity since the gold rush.
Yep.
And then the other one is, this show is genuinely a public service.
Yeah.
That's not hyperbole. It is a public service.
I know.
We make
You're
money
preaching
for our
to the
listeners.
choir.
Make money for our listeners.
I think we've only had one show so far. And look, we've only done about 10 shows. It's not like this has been like a
90%.
It's not like this has been like some 5-year show where we're doing these things twice a week and all of a sudden, we've had this crazy run for years. We've only done like 9, 10. Now I think this is 11 shows. But we've only had one show where you've lost money if you bet with us. And that was only one pick under 500. Not going to win every time, but Thursday makes up for that.
We do well.
Austin Dillon got 4th in the NASCAR race yesterday, plus 300. Mike had that. Byron was in the top 3 for most of it. He, as Mike said, was spun on pit road on a stop and made it back to 12th. Almost a double hit for Mike. But still, Mike on his NASCAR picks, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, Mike. See, he's there with it. He's there with it. So that's our weekend recap so far. Am I missing anything? The Bengals won. Bengals covered by 1 million.
Yeah. Also, our baseball picks aged very well.
We'll get into that.
Very well.
We'll get into that. First thing we're going to do, though, people have opinions.
Sometimes hard.
Sometimes hard opinions. When you want to say, do you want to hear the bad news first or the good news first? Are you a bad news or a good
You
news?
are always a bad news first.
Yes.
I used to say when I played baseball, if you play a doubleheader, you always want to end on a win, and that's the good news, bad news. You always end on a high note.
Yeah,
bad news first.
You always give me the opportunity, Reed, when something comes up here in the office. Paul, do you want to hear the bad news or the good news? You don't even ask me anymore because I always want to hear the bad news first.
Yeah.
And as we are going to now do on Mondays going forward, we're going to do the bad news first, and then we're gonna pick up some positive vibes. But you hear the music, and that means it's Monday Misery. Today's a real doozy. This is, I think, the third time we've done this segment, and today's is really bad. I feel really heartbroken. I don't know what the payout is on this parlay. Casey, bring it on up onto the screen. So this is a 5-leg parlay, hitting it just under plus 1,600, plus 1,577. The Bruins on the money line, the Milwaukee Bucks on the money line, the Houston Astros on the money line, the Vegas Golden Knights on the money line, and then the Lakers at plus 5.5. They lost this game by 6. But did you see, Reed, how they lost this game?
I did not see. Please tell me it was a Russell Westbrook brick.
It was 2 free throws with like less than 2 seconds remaining in a more than one possession game. It was 2 meaningless free throws at the very end.
Betting basketball, we've talked about this. Betting basketball is so much more of a thrill ride than it is football. Football, you get a good feel. I mean, like, I'm going to win this bet or I'm going to lose this bet. When you're betting basketball, it is a thrill ride nonstop until the end. I've won multiple bets backdooring it the exact same way that the Clippers backdoored that cover.
Oh, terrible. I feel so bad for whoever that was. I saw it on Twitter. When I scroll for these Monday Miseries, I'll just scroll and reply. Sometimes my friends will send them to us. Love to get some submissions from all of you. Hopefully, we're not preying on anybody's downfall. We're not rooting for anybody's losses. But we all know you lose, and sometimes it rips your heart out. So if you have ones that rip your heart out, just send it to us on Twitter. We'll feature it on the show. But I said, we get the bad news out of the way, and then we pick up some positive vibes. Don't know the people that hit these bets, but we're going to put them on the show. These are off Twitter. Let's get the first Monday Miracle. I don't know how in the world you hit one of these, but it's a 5-leg first basket parlay.
What is that number? Plus 1,485,020?
Yes.
Those are the odds? Man, I'm good at math.
Almost plus 1.5 million. And he bet $1. I shouldn't say he. It could be a she. $1 to win almost $15,000 on this bet. Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, Pascal Siakam, Vucevic, and Doncic, if I'm reading the screen right. Almost $15,000, all to make the first basket of the game. And I just don't know. I just don't know how a bet. See, I don't know how I would handle this if this was me. If I don't know what order these hit in. But let's just say reading this.
At some point, you're going to cash out. Right?
That's what I was just going to say. Let's just say reading this left to right. Cade Cunningham and Paolo Banchero make the first basket. I don't know what the cash out value is.
Probably
at
like
that point.
$70, $80.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah,
I'm taking
$80.
that.
$80 right there.
$80 that you didn't think you had off a $1 bet. Then you have to pray that somebody doesn't make the first basket, because if you see something like this and then you realize you could have had 15,000, that just rips your heart out. But congrats to whoever this was, because that's a heck of a bet. All right, the next one, Casey.
Before we go to the next one, I just want to say that this guy, he woke up after having a miserable Friday and was just like, oh, God, I really need some money.
It was a 6:23 a.m.
It's 6:23 a.m. He woke up and he was like, all right, I had a miserable Friday. I'm going to make this 5-leg parlay. Just put $1 on it. My life's in miseries right now.
He woke up, he took the dogs out, and came back in. He's just staring straight ahead. Probably went out on the Friday night, and he's just
Hungover,
sitting there.
probably.
Oh, he's terrible, just terrible. And then he crafts a $15,000 parlay.
I didn't even notice that. And the best thing about this is you place this at 6:23. You're waiting all day for this.
Yeah. He probably made 30 bets that day and just like didn't even realize that was thrown out there.
This is one of those bets that you forget about, and you wake up in the morning and you think to yourself, oh, there's just no way. And then you see that you have $15,000 in your account. Unbelievable. Monday Miracle. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, these $1 5-leg crazy parlays, when sports betting is legal in our home state here of Ohio.
January 1st.
Next baseball season, I'm gonna put aside like $200 because I forget how many days of baseball there are in a season. It's probably like 180 or something like that.
Yeah, 100. It's right around the 180.
180, 185. And I'm going to every single day bet $1 on every game, parlaying it. And just because if you hit one, you get 180 tries at hitting one of those. Every single money line in every single game, just picking the winners. And they probably pay out a couple $1,000.
Yeah, so I've done that
That'd
before.
Be worth
It's more fun. It's more fun when you do that when there are like afternoon games because then there's cash out value. When you do it at night and everybody's playing at the same time, then if you do it where there's like 3 or 4 games at noon, maybe 2 or 3 games at 4 o'clock, and then the rest play at like the normal 7 and 10 o'clock starts, then you get a whole day out of it.
Right.
If you can get through that noon slate and you're like, I'm still alive for the night, you have a whole night ahead of you of baseball that is all of a sudden interesting.
Right. Maybe I'm just ignorant into thinking that you give me 180 tries at this, I'm going to get one right to make it.
I'll bet you right now
that I do not get one right.
that you don't get one right. Just on the money line.
Hang on. Are you betting every single game?
Every
for that
single
week?
game.
Wait, so you're about to tell me that you're going to bet on every single Major League Baseball game next season?
Yes. I'm going to wake up in the morning, 6:23 in the morning, let the dogs out, commemorate just like he did with the 5-leg first basket parlay. And I'm going to, every day that I remember, try and craft this 15-leg parlay, and I just got to hit once. It'd probably be on opening day, to be quite honest.
All right, Casey, you're our producer. Circle that. We're going to come back to it the day before opening day or whenever our show is. Our last show before opening day of baseball. Reed and I will.
It's going in my phone right now.
We will do something. I got a stew on this one, and we'll do something for that bet because I think that'd be a lot of fun.
When's opening day?
Probably the last week of March, first week of April.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Putting it in my phone.
Put it for like March 15th. We'll remember.
It'll be right around the time the Final Four is happening.
Yeah, that's I think April 5th this coming year.
Yep.
Okay, we have a second Monday Miracle, which is right around the same lines, but this guy has some guts. Look at this. $1,500 at plus 6,700. $1,500 for Michael Porter Jr. and DeAndre Ayton to both make the first basket. They both hit, and he won over $100,000. $102,000 to pay out on that bet.
You know what I love about Twitter nowadays?
What?
And this has become a relatively new thing, and probably the past year, is that I feel like, and I know you craft Twitter to who you follow and what your interests are. They have an algorithm that crafts it to you.
Yeah.
I feel like half of my Twitter feed are FanDuel, DraftKings, and whatever sports books just throwing out whatever crazy parlays were crafted and hit that week.
Yeah.
I feel like that's literally half of my tweet is this dude wagering $1,500 on a 2-leg parlay to win $100 million.
And then what happens? You get people that say, "Hey, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to bet every
MLB game over the course of."
I think
I'm going to get one right. They'll get $200. However many days of baseball there are next year, they will not get my money. I will get my money's worth.
Okay, so that is Monday Misery and Monday Miracles. Glad we had 2 Monday Miracles to outweigh the Monday Misery. Nobody wants to be miserable on a Monday. Reed, you didn't have the best weekend.
Did not have a good weekend. No. Had a bad Sunday.
Do you need to vent at all?
Well, to be honest, I got a little lucky on Saturday. I went 3-2 on Saturday with picks. I have all my picks in front of me, but the big one was I think I gave you guys this on Thursday. SMU to cover against UC.
Yeah.
Needed some help there.
Oh, yeah.
Needed some help there. I mean, there was a big pass interference penalty that put SMU in scoring position. That was a heck of a backdoor cover. I was actually calling a game Saturday at noon, and I got 3 to 4 texts saying SMU is terrible. Was not watching the game, but it's never good when you're on the side of a bet and you're just getting text messages about the team you're betting on, how bad they look. Yeah. But they backdoored that. Clemson lost that bet. I didn't watch much of that game either, but I know they had a 97-yard, or Syracuse had a 97-yard scoop and score. That's a 14-point swing.
It is.
And they did not cover by 6 points.
Nope.
Oregon was a safe bet. Mississippi State was one of those bets where you're getting 22 points against Alabama. They lose by 24. But it was one of those things where you just kept holding on hope that Mississippi State was going to make something. They did not score until the final play of the game. It was 30-0 until the final play of the game. It was like 28-0 at half. And you just keep, every time Mississippi State got the ball, you're watching that. And you feel like a true degenerate because this game is clearly over, and you're just waiting like, come on, Bulldogs. At one point, I was like, Nick Saban is the worst coach in college football because he doesn't have his second team out there. Get the second team out there. Rest the guys.
And that's something that Alabama usually likes to do.
Get that second team. Well, you're going to hurt. I mean, a good coach, Nick Saban's not a good coach because a good coach gets those first-team guys some rest.
If you look back at Tua's career at Alabama, how many times did we talk about Tua and his stats and how much better they could have been because he never played in the fourth quarter because they were always up by so much.
Right.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And then yesterday was a bloodbath.
Yesterday they took your donations yesterday.
Yep. The Browns covered, had the Browns. I also had the Jaguars in the early slate. Jaguars had the lead, I think, for 3.5 quarters.
Yep.
And then ended up not winning the ball game. Finally, and then the 4 o'clock slate, which I said I loved.
Yeah.
Said I loved it.
Did tweet that out.
And both games I bet the bets were dead pretty much in the second quarter.
I didn't have all that eventful of a gambling weekend one way or the other. I was incredibly busy.
Better than the Notre Dame weekend.
So much better than really, that's rock bottom. And you know what's funny?
Casey, can you do me a favor? While he's talking, see if there's a video of Paul circulating the
it's
internet.
on my Twitter. I tweeted it. It's probably one of my second to last tweets.
Yeah, I'll find it.
It is him just down. You want to talk about Monday misery? This should actually, when we do the segment, should just be Paul.
Intro. Yeah,
should just be Paul.
Is it your personal or is it
my
not too
personal
picky?
Twitter? And it's the last tweet that I tweeted on Saturday. It's the last.
Yes.
Scroll back before my soccer tweets.
Can confirm the Irish did me dirty.
Yeah. That's me right in the middle
If
of
we could get that on the screen.
Irish misery. Oh, well.
I'll get it. Don't worry.
Don't
you
worry
guys
for
keep
Casey.
going.
What I was thinking about with Alabama, I was thinking about this weekend. I'm very much of the belief that if you're going to give me a Heisman Trophy quarterback and you're going to give me Nick Saban, I'm going to take that 10 times out of 10 one more time on Sunday. That's how the saying goes. And I'm going to take that and be okay with it all the time. I was thinking back to the 3 most miserable gambling experiences that I have
All
had.
Alabama.
And like how much I'm not an Alabama hater. I like Nick Saban. I'm not an Alabama fan, but like I like Nick Saban. I'm not one of those that's going to hate Alabama and Nick Saban because they win a lot. I enjoy watching Alabama play. I enjoy watching Nick Saban coach. And I enjoy being on the right side of Alabama wins. Well, I was thinking back, and I was like, I usually always ride with Nick Saban. And I thought to myself, okay, what was my most miserable gambling experience last fall? Texas A&M beating Alabama at Kyle Field. What was the most miserable gambling experience I've had in my life? Alabama money line against Georgia in the national championship. What was my most miserable gambling experience on this Saturday besides the Notre Dame loss 2 weeks ago against Stanford? It was that I was on the wrong side of an absolutely historic upset with Tennessee and Alabama. And I said this on Tom's show last week where I said, I wish I was on the right side of Alabama and Tennessee, and he kind of gave me some flack for it. And I think there's a bigger point there where it's like when there's a historic upset, The whole feeling that I had that whole day, just ripping my insides apart, was when there's a historic upset and you don't have any skin in the game and you're watching Tennessee and Alabama, you just want to be on the right side. You want to be able to celebrate. You want to be able to watch that scene in Tennessee and Knoxville. You want to be able to just enjoy Neyland Stadium and what's happening and the goalposts going into the river. And the whole time there's like this little sneer on your face, this little snarl, because you're thinking to yourself, I was on the wrong side of this. Nick Saban took my coins again. And I was thinking to myself, okay, my 3 things that stick out in my mind as miserable experiences all were Alabama football. So maybe I just don't love them.
I've lost Alabama bets the last 2 weeks. Tennessee and the Mississippi State this week.
I wasn't on them this week. All right, Casey, bring up this video.
Oh, that's just a sad puppy.
Oh, our poor little guy.
What is going through your mind at this very moment? What is going through your mind at that very moment?
So right here, I am realizing everything that has happened during the day. You can tell by my attire that I'm very cold.
Hang on. Let's back it up to where. Okay. All right. So you've got your.
He is actually.
This is elite podcasting right here.
He is doing the Nicene Creed right there in the middle of Notre Dame Stadium, just through my own gracious fault.
Oh man, this is
beating
brutal.
the chest.
Yeah, this is a terrible, terrible look here.
So then you get you look back up and you finally realize something. What did you realize right there?
So I think this was right as the game was ending. I think this was the nail in the coffin moment when Notre Dame was driving with the ball in the last 2 minutes of the game to try and win the game. I think this was right after they didn't get the 4th down conversion to try and keep the drive alive to win the game. It was either that or like the drive before, but it was right around the end. What it boils down to is that this was the moment where I realized the live money line on Notre Dame was chalked. And what I also realized in this video, and you can see it sort of right here, and this is just the hand on my shoulder from my friend Ryan. The hand on my shoulder, just consoling me. And you know what's shitty about this? You know what's shitty about this?
What's shitty about this?
Is that he was singing Rocky Top the whole game to me because he had, and we don't unit shame around here, but his units are a lot different. I mean, my guy Ryan was just shoving Rocky Top in my face after probably a $1 bet on Tennessee when I had my soul ripped out of me as I was trying to roll over and make things back on Notre Dame. And all of that combined, the cold, no phone signal, trying to figure out what else was going around on the night games, because Utah and I think USC, was that Utah USC? That was going on at the same time. So all this was happening at the same time. Meanwhile, and they don't sell beer in Notre Dame Stadium, so I'm a little bit hungover because we'd been tailgating. It's all setting in at one time, and that leads to that video. Terrible.
I'll tell you what, you have Beans, your friend Beans Burner. Beans.
Let me tell you what. Beans knows how to just get in there.
So we brought up at least 2 of your friends on this show.
Yeah.
Beans being the second. And he is a much better, just that hand on your shoulder, that's him probably toying with you a little bit, but also he's just comforting you. Oh, yeah. Now Chris,
Chesler.
He's bad news. You've got a bad friend in Chris. That dude fades every pick that we have on this. He's the enemy. When we make picks, it is to lose Chris money. And he made a bunch of money this week.
Chris.
At least on mine picks. At least on mine.
Chris paid his rent this weekend.
Because of me.
Yeah, Chris paid his rent this weekend. Okay. What do we got? What do we got going here? Oh, you know what's
baseball.
We do have baseball. This weekend, before we get to baseball, if you're watching the ticker down here at the bottom of the screen, every team in the local area is out of town this weekend. Bengals are at the Browns. Bearcats are at UCF. Miami Oxford is up in Akron. Kentucky is on the road at Neyland Stadium at Tennessee. Ohio State, they're 15.5-point favorites at Penn State. Everybody's out of town. Nobody wants to be in the Queen City.
Let's go to the Dome. Let's go to Syracuse. Watch Notre Dame play Syracuse. Let's go to the Dome. Let's just
You
make a
really
trip.
want to watch college
Syracuse
football?
will win.
No.
I do. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Take a road trip up to the Q's.
Yeah, we'll take the Chatty Wagon around and put some
Chatty-wagon.
put some miles on the man cave.
In the Carrier Dome. That'd be a good place to watch a college basketball. Do you think it's a good place? I've never been to the Carrier Dome for basketball. I've never been in general. I don't know if it'd be a good place
It'd be
to watch.
unique.
It'd be unique. It'd be something.
It'd be unique. That's what I want to do.
Okay. Here's what we got to do before we get to Monday Night Football, and then we get out of here for Monday's show. Because if you've been listening, if you have been listening to this show over the last few weeks, Reed and I, very knowledgeable about our baseball.
Oh, baby.
We have picked our World Series winners. Well, we started off with the Mets. They didn't make it out of the wild card round. Then we picked the Mariners. They lost in the divisional round. Then we picked the Padres, who had won a game. They were tied in the series.
1-1.
And after we picked them, they did not win again. We are 0 for 3.
We are the gift that keeps on giving.
If you faded Chris Hessler has made so much money.
The Chesler.
He has made so much money
I hate Chris.
off of our baseball picks.
Chesler, I hate you.
We have a decision to make now.
Love beans.
Love beans.
Love beans.
We don't unit shame on this.
We do not. You got close.
There's one. Oh, trust me. I told the line, and he'll tell you. I'm sure I'll get a text here in a few minutes. I told the line, but I'm not unit shame. And actually, to be fair, for those of you that are new to sports gambling, units are just however much you bet on a certain game. And
your average bet.
trust me, I'm no millionaire. I'm not putting a ton of money on games. I'm not putting money that affects my lifestyle on these games. But as a common courtesy, when one bet means a little bit more to another person than to somebody else relative to your unit size, maybe we don't just
Sing Rocky Top.
Rocky Top all day. And he's in my mentions on Twitter, but we love Beans. Love him. Beans, you know I love you. So we have a decision to make on baseball. We have the Astros and Dusty Baker. Really, we just have Dusty Baker. Because I don't think any
I've
of us
mentioned
want
this
the
before.
Astros.
That is the greatest PR move
Yes.
in sports history, possibly. You get in the middle, in the midst. God bless you. God bless you, Paul.
Still getting over it.
Yeah. You get just a terrible cheating scandal.
Yep.
Most hated team in decades in this sport, and you go out and hire one of the most beloved coaches to lead your team.
Yeah.
Great PR move.
Fantastic PR move by the Astros. And now he has a chance, yet again, to win the World Series in a Houston uniform. Do we want to mush the Phillies or the Astros?
Here's the thing. There's so much magic going on in Philadelphia right now.
They have to win, right?
I will not bet the Phillies. Let me put it that way.
Well, we got to pick a team on the show.
I know. So let me talk you through why I
all
won't
right, I'm
bet the
listening.
Phillies. Our executive producer. He's the executive producer of this show and Tom's Off the Bench show. Our boss, Trace Fowler, has been just on us about he's been on the Phillies bandwagon from the get-go. I'll give him credit.
Yeah.
Since the wild card round.
They're up around plus 3,000.
Yep. And if we pick the Phillies, we side with him. And I can't do that. If we're in a lose-lose situation here. Because if we pick the Astros and they lose, we just curse them to death. I can't side with Trace. I guess is what I'm getting.
See, I see it the other way. I think it's a win-win. I see it.
Explain it.
I see it as a win-win because if the Astros win, Dusty gets a World Series.
Gets a World Series.
Series.
No one deserves it in this world more than Dusty Baker.
Yeah. And if the Phillies win, look at what the city's doing right now. The city has so much luck going for them right now that the one off day next week in the World Series, the travel day, is Thursday Night Football for the Eagles.
I love that.
That's the second travel day of the series, but it's the one next week. That's in between. Now, granted, the series could be over by that point. I think it's the travel day between games 5 and 6. So Could be a 4 or 5 game series, and it's over by that point anyway. But we're talking about a game off with Thursday Night Football.
You want to know why? We got to side with the Astros here. I'm going to try and talk you into this.
I don't need to be talked in either way.
Okay,
I'm
so
fine
you
with
are
either team.
you are a Dusty Baker fan.
I love Dusty.
You know
love
what?
Dusty.
So Dusty Baker has done so much to the game of baseball, has provided so much over the years, over the decades. You know what Dusty Baker invented? He brought to the world, the first to ever do this.
What?
This is a fact.
Okay.
Dusty Baker invented the high five. That's a fact.
All right.
Dusty Baker gave out the first ever high five. How can we go against someone that invented the high five?
Hey, Dusty. We're on it. Astros, the favorite in the World Series. We're taking them. Congratulations, Philadelphia.
We are good at baseball bets. I can't wait to bet $1 on a parlay every day.
Nick Kirby, who did give us our chat winner, Frambar Valdez on Thursday. Zach Wheeler, World Series MVP, plus 1,600. We do need a chat pick, actually, for tonight or going forward. We do need one between today and Thursday's show.
Let's do a World Series MVP. We both give one out.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to hit before Thursday's show.
Okay, we'll do it Thursday. We'll
do it.
We'll look at it.
Bears plus 8.5 from Justin Fields. Are you allowed to bet on your own team?
No.
I'll ask Pete Rose that.
No.
Okay, let's take a look at Monday Night Football tonight. Another ugly one. Another ugly one.
So it opened at 6.
Yeah.
Been pushed all the way back 2.5 points on some sites.
Do we even want to do this?
I don't want to bet this game.
I don't really want to do this.
I already owe Chesler so much money. I already owe so much money to the bookie.
Okay. Let's take a look here at the Bears.
This is live.
I'm going to do this live. I want one thing that I did not look at before the show that I'm going to try and do on the show live. And I've tried to do this once before, and I'm going to try and get it here live. I'm going to look at the team totals.
All right, Paul.
The Bears team total is 15.5.
15.5?
Do they score?
I don't like that either. I don't like that either way. Here's what we'll do.
All right.
We'll have a little fun with this Monday show.
Okay.
I'm on DraftKings Sportsbook right now.
All right.
I have hit the toggle for the same game parlay.
Oh no.
We're gonna
Cook me something up here.
I'm gonna have you cook it. I'm gonna have you cook it up.
Okay.
I'll prepare it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna start throwing you.
Okay.
It's gonna be at least 4 legs here.
All right.
All right. We'll start with the passing.
All right. Justin Fields.
Justin Fields passing yards. The lowest you can go over is 125.
Does he get there?
And that is at minus 320.
All right, that's like one.
Pick. You want to go over 320? You just want to get 125, the lowest you can go. You want to get the over.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Mac. Mac Jones on the other side.
He's back.
Mac is back.
Bailey Zappi.
Bailey Zappi. I think we know more about football than Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Mac Jones, you can bet on him to throw at least 170 yards. That's the lowest you can go. And you can go all the way up to him to throw over 270 yards.
I think he could get over 194.5.
All right.
All right.
Well, we'll put 194. So that's 2 legs. We're currently looking
minus 110.
Minus 110. That's just.
All right. Give me 2 more legs.
2 more legs.
This is going to be our Thursday night
Let's get
football.
an anytime score.
All right. TD scores. David Montgomery.
David Montgomery plus 185.
There's plus 390 now.
Plus 3. We need one more.
I don't know. This game is so disgusting. Why have we gotten so many bad primetime games this year?
I don't know. They need to do better. Do better.
This is bad. Like, how are you the NFL and you're putting this out in front of us?
They need to do better.
Oh, man. It's just, they could have at least staggered it. They're subjecting us to the Broncos time after time after time on prime time. I'm
New England to score at least 15 points.
Is?
Minus 700, so it ain't doing a whole lot.
They'll score more than that. They'll probably be in the 20s.
Receiving props? Any?
We're doing this live. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this is good. This is good television.
Really good,
This
especially
is
for
this
the
is
people listening in their car. This is fantastic.
this is what the guy who made the 5-leg first basket did at 6:30 in the morning.
It is.
Just scrolling
All right, we need
through.
one more leg. We need one more leg today.
We do need one
and then
more
we
leg.
need our chat pick if anybody has it. Sir Boy Wonder says, I'd rather watch a wall than this game. A wall than this game. Now, this is a great wall. If you're going to watch a wall, this
That's
wall
good.
behind
Looks
us,
good.
Casey's
Looks good.
dad, our producer, Casey's dad made this wall. He went out in the backyard. He went into Zim Huday's backyard, chopped down all the trees. They got a little woodsy, chopped down all these trees, builds this wall behind us, paints this concrete slab. It took us, what, probably 6, 8 different people to haul this concrete slab in here.
Yeah.
Put it up on the wall.
That is the exact. Yeah. That. It looks good.
All this wood.
It looks
Look at
good.
this wood.
It's good. It's good stuff.
We need one more leg here.
Damian Harris over 45. Get 45 rushing yards.
Rushing yards.
Rushing yards.
Okay. Over 45. That would
Plus 6.5.
plus 650.
We'll just sprinkle it. We'll just
Plus
sprinkle this
650.
same game
I'm gonna
parlay.
Screenshot this so that we have
We'll tweet it out.
We will tweet it out from Not Too Picky, and that'll be our bets for tonight. Do we want to take a side here? Justin Fields. We're going to have to take the Bears plus 8.5 because that is the only pick that is in the chat right now.
And it's coming from Justin
and it's coming
Fields
from
himself.
Justin Fields, which means he must be pretty confident.
We
in
will
the pick.
at Justin Fields and say thanks for your gambling advice.
Okay, so the Bears plus 8.5 is the pick for tonight from the chat. We don't have a guest pick because we didn't have a guest today. And then the same game parlay is what we'll be rolling with. What a just disaster of a
Just having. We're gonna try and have
having a little
fun.
fun.
This is gonna be a
know-
Monday night game that is terrible to watch, and this is what sports gambling is. It is an entertainment thing. So let's have a little fun.
And you know what? Looking forward at the rest of this fall, and we've been talking about some different things to do on this show, some people we want to have on. We're 2 weeks away from college basketball. We have so much going on here in the next few weeks. The Bengals on Monday Night Football next week. There's a lot going on here in the next few weeks that it's not just going to be up here on a Monday show where we're looking for Russian table tennis between Monday and Thursday's show and having to recap the weekend. We got some things working for us in Monday Night Football. Especially next week, Bengals and Brownies.
Yeah, next Monday.
Bengals and Brownies next week. Been a lot of talk about that.
There has been a lot of talk in the room.
There's been a lot of talk about the Bengals and the Brownies. We'll get into that more on Thursday. Do have I believe, going to have a college football guest. I haven't had a college football specific guest yet. So I'm going to have a college football guest, I think, on Thursday. Still waiting on confirmation there. Casey or Reed, is there anything that you guys want to get off your chest before we get out of here?
Sir Boy Wonder.
I love Sir Boy Wonder.
Faithful listener.
Yeah.
He says the Bears win exactly 20-19.
20-19. No, well, that's a funky score. If you end up at 20-19, that means a lot of things probably went
Game
wrong in the
lines.
game. Can we get a correct score on 20-19?
I don't even know where to find that.
It's all the way at the end of DraftKings, but I'm not even going to attempt it.
Casey, what do you got? What do you got?
Casey,
What do you
do you
got?
have anything before we sign off?
Not really, because
Electric.
all I would say is that this game is going to be miserable to watch. I enjoyed your parlay. I really enjoyed watching that
Parlay?
live. Yeah.
Okay.
Parlay. And I might even have to take you up on that.
Okay, Casey, let me ask you this question before we sign off.
He's going to take us up on that parlay.
Let me ask you this question.
Yep.
I'm going to give you plus. I'll give you minus 110 because I think that's where we're at right now.
Little juice.
Minus 110 odds that you are a homeowner by the time we go on the air on Thursday.
Well, 100% not going to happen.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh!
Sorry, everyone. It's probably not going to happen until Friday.
Okay. Are you a homeowner by this time next Monday?
Whew.
Minus
Now
110.
that-
Are you taking the bet? Yes.
Oh.
October 31st is next Monday.
Yeah, that's the other date that we're talking about. So I'll take that bet. I'm going to be a homeowner by Monday.
So we are,
All right.
me and Paul are going to show up with a 12-pack of Keystone Lights.
Okay.
And we're going to help you pass out candy
Yeah.
at your new home that you are closing on Monday. And then we're going to hopefully have a TV in this house by then because we're going to need to watch the Bengals game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then eventually we're going to have to just do this show live out of your house at some point.
Do you have a sauna?
Do you have a studio? Oh, yes.
Hey, I'll have the space for a studio. I'll have our own little room that we can set aside for the studio.
Well, eventually, once we get into college basketball, we're going to be doing, we wanted to do sweating out bets in a sauna.
Yes. We need a sauna in your house.
We're going to build it together.
After we win this parlay tonight, we will buy you a sauna with the winnings.
I've already heard back from
All about
Beans.
that.
What Beans say?
Beans is on the show.
Beans is a good friend.
Chris?
Chris?
Beans took care of me.
Bad news.
All right. Thanks for everybody for listening. We'll have some picks, everything for the weekend. Have some picks and everything for the weekend for everybody. And we'll be back on Thursday. Looking forward to it. Thanks for listening. Subscribe everywhere. Share. Talk with your friends. Growing the show. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Bears plus 8.5 is the chat pick. And then we'll tweet out Reed and I's same game parlay, whatever we cooked up for tonight.
In the lab.
Try and enjoy some Monday Night Football. Thanks for watching, everybody, sincerely, and we'll see you on Thursday.